I'm loading it up now, so we'll go live here in a few seconds. All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 19 of Outdoors with MSA with your host, Anthony Jones, and myself, Jonathan Abernathy. I had to rush this morning to get all this put up. I'm still in my hunting club. I went out hunting this morning. The weather was too nice not to run out there and give it a shot. And
Well, how'd it go?
I seen two does, and they were just as excited about the cold weather as I was, because I have a map to show like what was going on, because it was just ridiculous.
Awesome.
One doe came in, and you know how like squirrels are always super loud, right? Like you always hear a squirrel and you're like, oh, there's a deer. No, this deer came barreling in. She was a bulldozer. Yeah. She came in, dude, and she was just running laps right there in front of me, just circling, just going nuts. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to grab my bow and trying to get ready. And her little friend comes in. She puts her vitals behind a tree and sticks her head around and is just looking at me. And I'm, cool. You gonna look anywhere else? No, she stared at me until the doe that was on an Adderall took off, and then she just disappeared.
Really?
Yeah.
Was the doe that was looking at you, was she smaller than the doe that was running laps, or?
Yeah, the big doe was the one doing the laps. The small one,
because
the one that was running laps was that real dark brown color, like almost gray, and the one that was staring at me was still like that like summer coat, red.
Really?
But so this is the terrain I was hunting this morning, right? I don't know if we've shown this picture before.
No.
I wanted to get where the pin is there, next to the little spillway there. I got in late, didn't get a chance to get there, but I knew that deer traveled this little corridor. If you look at that blue line, that's the wind this morning, right? Blowing right back to the way I came in. It's good. The purple line is the direction I figured they would travel. That green line is the line they actually traveled, and all that squiggly red, that was my ass lost in the dark this
morning. That's funny.
I got in and I thought I was set up looking towards the pin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time I was getting ready to leave, a truck came by and I could see it on the road behind. So I was actually looking back at the road. I was all twisted around this morning. You may not learn how to kill a big buck or a big deer on this channel, but you will learn what not to do.
Exactly.
Don't turn around and look back the way you came in, because that's what.
Is that a big pond?
I haven't gotten up to it yet. I haven't gotten up to it yet. Hold on, I have a zoomed in. So yeah, that's me walking in this morning, just like a fat kid going corral, no rhyme or reason. And that green line is where they came in. They came in right behind me, or they would have came in on the other side of me. This was what I drew this when I was assuming I was looking the right way.
Was this super thick woods? Is there the transition between pines and hardwoods, or?
No, it starts off pretty open. You go in, it gets a little thick, and then where that purple line is it opens up a good deal to where you've got maybe 30 yards of pretty open big woods, and then it goes right back to thick stuff going up to that spillway. So it was an adventure. This is why I don't really like hunting in the morning. I don't like going into spots that I'm not 100% sure of in the dark, because I'll get turned around.
That's another thing I was going to bring up to you. We're hunting public land Saturday, opening day of Tennessee deer season, full moon. I was thinking maybe instead of going in at first light, 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe we hunt 10 to 3 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way we're not, we're trying to get down there by 9, and by the time we get set up, it's 10 o'clock, That way we have time if we've come across any scrapes, fresh rub, anything like that.
This morning I was going off of the little moon hunt calendar schedule thing that told me my major time and my minor time were going to be around 9 to 10, right?
Yeah.
So I get in there, and I'm not as quiet as I normally would like to be. Uh, I'm messing with that stand. It banged a few times, so I'm already kind of like, when I first got up the tree, I was already irritated, thinking it was going to be a crap hunt. So I get up
Right.
there, get set down. Dude, not 10 minutes later, those came in and started doing their shenanigans.
It's awesome.
Uh,
How do you like your new stand?
I like it. It's so much lighter than the other one.
The terrain,
so
is
much.
it pretty elevated? Like, was you going uphill the whole time where you were hunting at?
No, so it's pretty flat right there. But what it does do is it raises up a little where I was sitting, and then where
Yeah.
that purple line here, I'll show you. Let me pull that picture back up. So where that purple line is,
Yeah.
it dips back down a little. So you got to
Yeah,
rise
you
on
can
both
see it.
sides. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm
you
up
can
there looking down into that, and or I was supposed to be looking down into that, but yeah,
good stuff, man.
it oh, okay. So my wife's watching. Thanks for telling on me about my new stand.
Do what?
So my wife's watching. She heard about the new stand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't ever have you on speakerphone, man. The stuff that comes out of your mouth.
Is now is it as comfortable as the SD?
Well, no, it is the SD. The one I had before was the Summit Steel. It's
Oh,
the 29-pound one, and that one's
yeah.
comfortable and it's fine. But dude, carrying that 30, I'm a bigger boy. Carrying that 30
Yeah.
pounds in plus my gear, it
I
was too
do.
much. This one's only 20, but it feels like it's 10. Like it's so much lighter.
Right.
The one thing I would suggest Summit maybe doing is we got to do something about when you put the cable around the tree and you're trying to put it back in. Those little
Mm-hmm.
knobs on there make so much noise and are kind of a pain to deal with. I mean, I
Right.
like they're definitely secure. I like how secure they are, but it makes a lot of noise.
Right. Is it comfortable? Is it as
Oh
comfortable
yeah,
as your? Yeah.
it's more. I got up
Yeah.
there and I had the seat hammock too low, so I
Mm-hmm.
stood up and got it adjusted right, and it was easy enough to adjust in stand. I will say that. I didn't
Good.
feel like I was risking myself adjusting it. So it was
Right.
easy enough to adjust it up and down while in the stand. I got it adjusted, and once I was sitting the way I should have been, I was good. I do regret when I bought that bow hanger, I only got the 2 limbs. I really needed the 3 because of the tree I was on. It kind of like hung right here instead of being
Right.
a little further out, which is
Right.
what I would have preferred. But come rifle season, and when I get my crossbow back, I usually set them on top of, like, in front of me on that shooting rail anyway, so it
Yeah.
won't be a problem
That's good, man.
if I get the bow back uh, before this season's over.
Well, as bad as shipping is and stuff, the
Yeah,
ports are down. Like there's 75 cargo ships in California waiting to dock. It's just so
yeah,
backed up.
and I mean, dude, it was just I mean, I couldn't have came down at a better time as far as getting back here in time to set all this up. I really thought I was going to have to do this one from Old Blue from the truck with some spotty
Right.
service, but it was a good morning, man. It was a good morning.
I'm glad.
Learned a little bit. I'm excited about getting out this Saturday. Like you said,
Oh, you and me both.
I don't think we have to get out there super early.
No.
Get out there
No,
when we
like I
can.
said, I think us getting down there about 9 o'clock and then sitting up, getting set up probably about 10. We got a long walk regardless of where we're going. So
Yeah,
take our time. Who knows? I mean, we might find sign between where we're hunting at and where we're trying to get to that we just need to set up on.
yeah. I'm glad I went out this morning, and I went out in Georgia. For anybody confused on why I went hunting before Tennessee season opens, I went out in Georgia this morning, and
Yeah.
that turkey vest is not not ideal with the climber. It's great when I'm doing the ground blind thing, but with the climber, dude, it. Oh, and this water bottle, I'm not gonna. Actually, I will. Dasani, your water bottles are literally the loudest thing in the world.
Oh no, man! You gotta try the cheap Walmart bottles that are like paper thin.
But that's how that Dasani bottle is, man. It's that new, like, all recycled.
That's sad.
Is it? So my wife said, "I'll be back." Where you? Nowhere. 2 hours later, Bass Pro.
It'll be all right, Ivy.
Yeah, that's the life of being married to a hunter. Like,
right? What Mama don't know won't hurt her.
I didn't buy the saddle, so that should make everybody feel a little safer for me. I was going to go and get the saddle, but after watching every review on the saddles you can pick up, I did not feel comfortable picking up the saddle.
No. Well, we need to start talking about some sports, man. But I think before we do that, we should talk about our sponsors.
Yeah, let's hit the sponsors, and then we got to hit the sports because I'm excited. Appalachian Custom Calls. Anthony, I'll let you take the sponsors today.
Awesome. Appalachian Custom Calls. Tennessee veteran out of East Tennessee. Makes the best mouth calls, pot calls. And on the line now is Grunt Calls. So if you are looking for a grunt call, these are handmade wood grunt calls. They sound amazing. So go to Appalachian Custom Calls Facebook page. Can't miss them. And super affordable, man. Blue collar prices. Because it's Rookin' Juice. He was on the show last week. Dan's super good guy. His mock scrapes work. And so does his cooter juice.
Yep.
So, and there's a vet discount. So.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Definitely go check out the vet discount.
Camo Dust. World's best scent eliminator in dust form instead of liquid form. So you can powder yourself down on them freezing cold days and not worry about having to wear wet clothes while you're out in the woods. VIP Products. Veteran-owned company out of Texas, makes the best broadheads on the market. Was hoping John would have killed one of them does this morning so we could show you a picture of how devastating those broadheads really are. And the reason. Great guy. Vet-owned company here in Tennessee. Check out his stuff, man. He's got some sweet hats, sweet shirts, and he's got some good YouTube content.
All right. So we're going to go into sports now. We usually talk college, but I've got to talk about my NFL team here for a second. Carolina Panthers are 2-0, and we play the Texans tonight. We're going 3-0, baby. Old Sammy D just needed to get out of New York.
You playing them tonight?
Yeah, it's Thursday night game. And the Texans are starting Davis. Yeah, well, yeah, it should be a good game for us. I mean, they're starting that rookie Davis Mills out of Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah, should be a good game. So
if we're going to talk about NFL, are you going to start Sam Darnold on your fantasy league?
No.
Since he's playing tonight? No. He's putting up good numbers, though, man. 500 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That's pretty good numbers.
Those are good numbers, but the thing is I never like to start a guy who's playing in a Thursday night game. Historically, the numbers are always down from their typical output.
Right.
So I don't really like to start people on Thursday nights. I love to play people on Monday nights, as with DeAndre Swift last week. He won because I played him on a Monday night. Actually, I needed every bit of what he gave me. I won by 1 point. So
he's going to win Rams or Bucks.
Rams or Bucks?
Yep.
I mean, I'd like to see the Rams win, but dude, it's Tom Brady. Like he just keeps winning.
Yeah. I think the Rams win. And the reason being is the Bucks have no secondary. the Rams are throwing the ball deep. I look for Stafford to put up 20 points on the fantasy league. And I think my guy, Cooper Kupp, is going to post another 20, 30 point game on the fantasy league.
Oh, yeah?
I think so, man.
Dude,
I mean, everything's important. Plus, it's a home game.
He's got to come down at some point.
I don't know, dude. This might be the year. Let's talk college football.
Let's say, are there any big college games this weekend?
Arkansas, Texas A&M. You got Notre Dame and Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's going to win that game. Notre Dame's not impressed me. But the sleeper that I've talked about all summer long and even up to now is Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to beat the brakes off of Texas A&M. Texas A&M got a good defense, but they have zero offense. They put up 10 points against a lousy Colorado team. And their starting quarterback went down. I think Arkansas, who's returning 21 to 22 players, will go into Sanford Stadium against Georgia undefeated.
Nice. Yeah, I think Iowa's going to end up winning the Big Ten.
Probably. Well, oh, man, I don't know. That Penn State team, dude, they're looking pretty nasty. I think it's going to come down.
They beat a middle-of-the-road SEC team.
Dude, it's SEC. And they beat Wisconsin, who's ranked. Penn State is one of the only college teams to beat two ranked opponents so far this season.
You know what? Let me bring our buddy Bryce in here. Hey, how you doing, Bryce?
I'm doing good. How about you all?
Oh, hey, Mr. Bryce.
What do you think? Penn State, are they overrated?
I don't watch any kind of sports.
That probably is why you're a better hunter than
Notre Dame.
Well, it's good to see you, Mr. Bryce.
Good to see you both.
This is Bryce Tinsley, owner of Foxtrot Ammo Company.
Yep.
Brought you in a little early today. Usually we send it out, at the 30-minute mark, but usually it takes people 10, 15 minutes to get in, and you got in early, so hats off to you.
Right on.
Way to work that computer. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Staying busy.
Yeah.
Prepping for the coyote season and the fall turkey hunters and waterfowl hunters. But
awesome.
Yep.
So give us
now Foxtrot Ammo. It's TSS. I love them. This is my second year that I used them for turkey season. They're devastating. Birds don't even flop when you shoot them. They're just stone dead. So if you want to tell everybody a little bit about TSS and, how it makes Foxtrot so much better than your lead competitors.
Well, lead can only do so much. With TSS being a tungsten shot, the size of the pellet, it's so dense, so hard, and it's so smooth. It flies truer. It patterns way better. I mean, there's no comparison with lead at all. With the advent of heavy shot, which, tungsten nickel, that was even better. I started with that many years ago hunting, and me personally, I always wanted the best that I could hunt with. I love to travel. I love to go out of state and hunt. So, I want a good gun, a great choke, and the best shell that I can get. And that's what I got into loading TSS years ago for myself, and did so good at it. I had friends and family want some, and other people started asking for it. So I had to start a business doing it. The main difference is, when you can take a smaller pellet, increase your pattern, and at 40 yards or even further, because it holds the pattern together longer because of the density of the pellet, it just beats lead out of the water. And that's where you got your sub gauges, where it really shines in it with a lighter weight payload because it's such of a small pellet size. From 410 all the way to 10 gauge. It's whatever you want to hunt with, whatever you want to shoot, and it just makes it worth it, especially in a 410 or a 28 gauge or a 20 gauge. Women and children, the recoil is less than any lead 3-inch 12 gauge 2 3/4 12 gauge load. It's all plus. It is expensive. Some people don't want to use it, but you get what you pay for, and With TSS, it's so much better. You can't compare it.
Well, I shoot a 20 gauge. Sorry, John, go ahead.
So would you say you're more into the feathered creatures of the woods than you are the furry ones?
Oh yeah, I mean I love deer hunting. Don't get me wrong, but I just something about getting up in a nice cool morning and hearing a gobbler just sound off and calling him in, tricking him and calling him in and taking him home. To me, it's more fun than deer hunting. I've killed a lot of deer over the years. It's just one of them things where deer is you got a lot of time sitting. I hate sitting and waiting on deer. Indiana does not have the area for deer that you can stalk them and hunt them, like you can some of the western species. And where turkey is, you can, before work, you can go out and hunt an hour or two and then head back to work, and you don't have the time involved like you would with a deer. Your chances of killing a turkey is, if you're good at it, is better. Yeah, I need everything I can to help myself. I was greening grass 20 years ago when I started hunting turkey, but cut my teeth going to Alabama hunting out of state for the first time. Did not get one there. Didn't know what I was doing, but it has evolved a lot in 20 years.
Anthony has been trying to get me into the birds.
Yep.
I've been duck hunting one time, and I'm actually afraid to go again because it's I
Yep.
see where the addiction can come from. Sitting
Yep.
in the blind with the heater, the grill,
Oh yeah,
all the creature
Yep.
comforts, and
Yep.
I was like, oh, I could get used to this. The action, being able to sit there with your buddies and talk, and then birds fly over and you shoot. It's good fun.
Right.
Turkey hunting, I've been a handful of times. I've taken birds. I'm not taking anything to write home about, but I'm just not there yet. I haven't had that one just gobble off and just get me.
Well, I'll tell you right now, every time I go and I hear a turkey gobble, it just, I shake. It gets me all tore up, and I love it. I enjoy it. I especially loved, with my family, with my dad, with my son, with my daughter, the spring before youth season, I took my daughter, and we had two gobblers come in, and I was videotaping it. And when I knew they were committed and they were coming, I was shaking so bad. And I wasn't the one hunting. She was. And she was going to be her turkey to kill. And I was so tore up. She looked at me and she goes, "Are you going to be okay?" And I laughed. I go, "Yeah." I said, "Just shoot this turkey. It's going to make my day," which if she would have missed or whatever, I had fun. But I just love it. It's so much more enjoyable, where you can walk in a place and hear a bird gobble, and you can call him. He'll come running, or he might even skirt you and come in from the side. There's so many variables, but duck hunting duck hunting's a blast. Like you said, you can get in a boat, get in a blind in a field, have a cup of coffee, talk with your buddies, call some birds in and shoot them. And that's one thing about waterfowl is, with steel shot, you might have to shoot a duck 2 or 3 times to kill one or a goose. Whereas TSS, when you hit them, it just crushes them. And then, with a duck load, you can do a light payload to keep the cost down. I try and do that there, but no matter what I do, I've got customers that are like, instead of a 7/8 ounce and a 20 gauge, can I have 1 1/4 ounce? And I'm like, okay, whatever you want, you're paying for it, so it cracks me up. You can do a lot with a 20 gauge with a 7/8 ounce load, and that will just absolutely destroy ducks and geese. 410 is even unbelievable. I've killed geese 40, 50 yards with a 410 with number 9s. It's kind of hard to fathom. And it's people that hunt with steel or hunt with lead. When you start talking to them about TSS and what it can do, they have the mindset that bigger payloads is better. And it's not always the case, because anything bigger is going to have more recoil. It's going to cost more. But,
like deer rifles. It's just like deer rifles. Everybody thinks you need the 30-06 or 308, and
right.
New ballistics have proven you don't have to use that.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry,
I love
I
it.
was switching earlier. My headset was dying, and I'm roughing.
I need to get me one of them hats, Bryce.
Say again?
I need to get me one of them hats. I
like that hat.
Hey, I'll send them to you. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you pictures here a little bit of the different ones that I've got. And, You take your pick, which one, I'll send them to you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
I like that.
as far as I didn't know you could use tungsten for waterfowl. I thought it had to be TSF or I mean steel shot. But that's pretty awesome that you can use tungsten.
Yeah, being that it's a non-toxic shot, it's a shoe in because of the density. I mean, you can up your pattern and you can up your range if you wanted to, but I know it is more money. It's more expensive, but in the long run, when you shoot one shell and you kill a goose or a duck, and then you shoot steel, you got to shoot 3 times, and sometimes you got to reload, water swap one, just make sure it's dead. But it's expensive either way.
Oh, I agree. I dove hunted last year and had to use steel.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. I had to shoot my doves twice. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this whole industry is expensive nowadays. I don't think there's anything that's cheap in this.
Well, not in this day and time. It's yeah.
Have you had trouble getting your TSS? I know everybody else in this country is struggling to get their stuff to manufacture. Has it affected you?
TSS shot hasn't been that bad this year. In years past, trying to keep up with the increase in orders and demand, I kind of went above and beyond last year ordering this shot, and so I had 1-2 week window there where I had a delay. But the main thing is the actual components to load with. If you reload any rifle ammo, the powder and the primers, pretty much, the primers are non-existent. It's instead of paying $3-4 for large rifle magnum primer for a pack of 100, now people are paying, $20-30 for 100, primers, which is, it's increasingly, it drives you mad trying to, plan ahead and get stuff ordered. And, I looked at this spring what I've sold just in the 410s. And, when you're working in a market like this right here, if you're doing well, you could plan on doubling up for the following year because, word of mouth customers that, talk about it on social media and, they show the kills and then people are interested and they want to order. And when you got a great product, which, it all comes from God, he gets the glory on helping me through all of this right here and gives me the ideas on how to load certain shells. When you got a good product, you can't keep up with it. Last year I had what I call it the Friday night fights, where here's the 410 dump. This is what I've got available this week. And just so I could keep up on other orders for, the other, 20 gauge and 12 gauge and the 10 gauge and everything. But the hauls are, oh my gosh, it's I've talked with other companies I can order from, but it's going to be in 2022 before I can order from them directly. So it's going to be fun again this spring, just with the components. I've been stockpiling as much as I can through the summer to be ready for next year, but I got a feeling that I'm not going to be able to keep up.
How many orders do you get for 16 gauge?
Say again?
How many orders do you get for 16 gauge?
In a 16?
Yeah.
Oh, quite a few orders in 16 gauge.
I heard it's making a comeback.
Oh yeah, it is. 16 gauge is, they used to say it was a woman's caliber, but I'm gonna tell you right now, and a 28 gauge. But I've always shot 28 gauge and 16 gauge over the years. Just for sporting clays and stuff like that there. And I didn't really use a 28 gauge or a 16 for like duck hunting or turkey hunting, but that has changed with TSS. I mean, it's what you can do with it. Every gauge, it's unbelievable. But
I've got an old bolt action 16 gauge with the poly choke on the end sitting in the closet that my granddad gave me. And if the stock wasn't starting to crack, man, I don't know if I'd use another shotgun.
Right on.
That thing's heavy, but it's sweet.
Yep. Yep.
Now, for all of our predator hunters out there, what type of size load do you recommend for when you're hunting predators?
Well, you take coyote. Everybody typically wants bigger is better. And I personally, from experience, I love a 1 ounce load with number 3 shot for coyote in a 12 gauge.
Wow. That's big.
I've patterned them out to 100 yards. I'm not saying that number threes are going to kill a coyote stone dead at 100 yards, but if you get a pellet in them, at 70, 80 yards, you're definitely going to get another shot on them. That's what you want with a shotgun. But
Right.
even with a 20 gauge, you got Gray Gallagher down there in Tennessee. He's been hunting with a 20 gauge with a number 4 shot. Now, it's the summer going into fall. A lot of younger coyotes, like he said, are a little bit closer. So, number 4s are just absolutely flattening them. And so hopefully here this fall, when he starts getting further shots, I'll get some greater feedback, on a longer distance with number 4 shot. But, I prefer number 3s in my guns, what I pattern tested them with in the 12 gauge. And, we've killed coyotes here 50, 60 yards on a flat run in the wintertime. And you're talking bigger coyotes at that point in time than some of the younger ones. And it is flat. In a 20 gauge, number 3s, number 2s, number 2s they're wicked with the right choke tube. And, you could easily pattern test, take the time, know what your gun's going to do, what it's capable of, making sure you got the right choke with the right shell combo. And, you could easily shoot coyotes at 70 yards with a 20 gauge.
Awesome. Do you have anybody use them for home defense?
Oh yeah, I do that. I don't push home defense a lot because with TSS inside a home, it's going to go completely through a house. It's so much different than lead. Lead will flatten and smash, and it'll slow down going through a wall and you hit the board or whatever. But you take big shot with TSS. Number 2s, T shot or OT 4. I mean, my gosh, dude, it's. If you needed to clear the yard of zombies, that's the way to go. But it's a little hairy inside the house.
It's where you want to get the home invader from your neighbor's house by the refrigerator.
That's exactly right. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So, how many years have you been in business?
Well, as far as Foxtrot Ammo, just a little over 2 years. And I've been, loading TSS. Mr. Tommy DeLiba, he is the one who helped me get started years ago. I bought shot from another feller off the NWTF forum many, many years ago, and I couldn't get any load data, and I kind of expressed that on the NWTF forum, and Tommy goes, "What do you need?" And I said, "Well, I have no idea what I need. I've never loaded shot shells before, and I really want to get into it." And that man took me under his wing and taught me so much over the years. And helped me tremendously. I owe it all to him. I'm really thankful, and I let everybody know, it's not just me. There's a person that helped me. I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't know everything, but if I have any questions, I can give him a call or text, and he'll get right back with me and help me out and point me in the right direction. But he has been tremendous, and his helping me means so much that he treats me right. I treat him right. We work together on things. And if I got an idea, I'll bounce it off of him. And if like with the component issue right now, I'll call him up and we'll start talking about different wads that we might be able to use, like in a 20 gauge 3-inch load that, we could get easily, where right now you can't. And it seems like everybody's fighting over, what components to get that, someone like him to help me get started. It means so much that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him, truthfully.
Right. That's awesome, man. That's one takeaway I can get from the hunting industry is that there is a lot of people that want to help each other. It's not just a cutthroat dog eat dog. Sometimes it is, but you get people like yourself and your friend there who just want to work with each other, and I think that's what makes the hunting industry what it is today.
Yes. In the hunting industry as a whole, when you take archery is a cutthroat business. It's with the clothing manufacturers, I know that can be, people like certain things, but, in this part of the industry, when you can work together and help each other out, I know I've had more people than just Tommy. I had Robert McCormick help me with the 28 gauge load. I was working on that there, and he kind of helped me get situated on that right there. thankful for him on that. Dale Wildman from Pennsylvania, he sells a lot of the GAPE, GAEP tooling for reloaders. And when it comes to the 410, I started loading the 410. I had some thoughts, and I was kind of going that way. He was tremendous help. We bounced ideas off of each other and worked together on that there. And I'm real thankful that, he had insight on a 410. Tommy, he has a 410 load, but he never spent the time on a heavier payload, and he kind of kept it smaller. But with a 410, it's crazy what you can do with it, and the way that it patterns, that it's even viable. Thankfully, because of TSS, it is that you can actually take it hunting and kill critters with it, at 40 to 50 yards if you got the right choke combo, which is insane. Because you know what, guys that are hunting 30 years ago with that hunt with 410, it's like we had to call them into 15 to 20 yards with a lead load, and it was chance are you had a runner, or you had to jump on it right away to finish it off. But TSS, what it worked, it's just like magic. It tremendous.
Do you have a choke recommendation match with your?
Yes, sir. With TSS, I shoot nothing but Indian Creek, and I've been shooting Indian Creek for as long as they've about been in business. I've always wanted the best. And when I started turkey hunting 20 years ago, I bought everything you could in a 12 gauge, and with choke tubes back then. When Indian Creek came out and they started winning the NWTF shoots, I kind of gravitated toward that. There, I had a good friend that shot with him, Scott Kirsch, down in Corydon, Indiana. He gave me a lot of pointers on how to get better patterns. And with the Indian Creek, it was pretty easy to match up the Indian Creek choke with what I'm shooting and shoot excellent. And we've shot other choke tubes, and it's just, when you shoot 3 or 4 different choke tubes and you take 3 or 4 different kinds of ammo and shoot through the same choke tube, one seems to pattern better and more consistent than the others. You might take a competing choke tube that might shoot a better pattern, but overall, all the shells that you try out and you test, the Indian Creek performs better. I mean, there's no getting around that there. They won 54 world still target shoots, and from 20 gauge or all the way up with black powder, even they won some, and with the 12 gauge, I mean, it's the only one I'll shoot. We've done so much shooting with them over the years. There's such good people, Stuart and Mike there at Indian Creek. I don't think that TSS for me would be as good with any other choke.
Awesome. What I like about, and I shoot Indian Creek, I shoot a 555 out of my 20 gauge.
Okay.
Which is pretty tight, but with TSS, you don't have to have as tight of a restriction on a choke like you would if you're shooting lead.
Right. And one thing about the Indian Creek with TSS, and TSS in general, is not so much the actual choke tube, but one thing nice about TSS is everyone thinks because it's a really tight pattern at 40 yards, that at 15 or 20 yards, it's going to be even tighter compared to lead. That's not the case. 9 times out of 10, it's a little more forgiving, closer range. But the thing about the TSS is from 15 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 yards, the TSS pattern stays tighter in the long run. And because it's so dense compared to lead, after 25, 30 yards, it starts to open up, so that's why you get a golf ball size hole at 20 yards, and then at 40 yards, you're down to 170 pellets, in a 12 gauge. But, where TSS, you've got that, it's like a baseball pattern. And then at 30 yards is a little bit bigger, 40 yards is a little bit bigger, and then at 40 yards with a 20 gauge, you still got 300 pellets plus in a 10-inch circle. And then, with a 20-inch pattern. But but with the Indian Creek in a 20 gauge, I mean, we shoot Indian Creek tested when the Indian Creek started making the 410s, and we found right away that the 410s with an Indian Creek, they make 3 different constrictions, a 380, 385, and a 390. And Stuart, he's got a Browning BPS 410, I do. And so me and him was comparing the patterns, and we both found that, his gun liked one choke tube with a certain load, and my gun liked, a different load and a different choke where it patterned the best. So, it's like the old days where you shot a 12 gauge with a lead load and 3 or 4 different chokes to find what shot the best. And it's kind of reversed with the 410. 410's finicky, but they're a lot of fun. And, they can be a lightweight gun. And, if you want to take your kid, son and daughter or wife or somebody and have a gun that's not going to beat them to death and still kill a turkey at 40, 50 yards, there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if I was the well, go ahead, John.
Do you have a projection for when your ammo is just going to be in, Walmarts across America or any of the Bass Pro Shops? We're working towards that, or are we just trying to stay?
For myself,
Mm-hmm.
to be inside a big box store, never.
Yeah.
No, I when you hand load these here shells, it takes a lot of manpower to keep up with with the demand. With TSS, there are some companies that are putting in the bigger box stores, like take Apex, they do, but to me, I want to keep my quality on par, and I'm growing definitely. I mean, I see an increase every year in sales and the amount of people that are buying and using for turkey hunting. But it's I'll select few stores, mom and pops I'm working with. We will be having Midwest Turkey Call Supply. They will be carrying Foxtrot next year, and I'll have a couple local stores here in Indiana, and I've got a couple places like Oklahoma. There's a place in Georgia that they do, but I'm not going to try and get as many as I can and grow too big because, like I said, I'm one man here loading. I do have family that work with me, help me prep. Prepping takes forever if you're going to do it right, load right. I would rather have less in quality there and make sure that I don't have any problems in the future to be able to keep up with the demand. You got to grow, but I don't see me going to Bass Pro or Cabela's in the future. Nothing like that right there.
If I was a first-time shopper and I was watching this video and I was interested in getting your ammo, where would we go to purchase your ammo?
Oh, you can go right to the website, foxtrotammo.com. You can email me if you have any questions, or I got a phone number on there you can call. If I'm not there, leave a message. I'll get back to you. But when it's hunting season, it's my phone. I got it on my ear more than I do in my pocket. Talking to people, customers, and everything. People ask every question imaginable about their situation, what their gun is, and everything. So anybody needs any information, they can go right there to the website, foxtrotammo.com, and they can go over what I've got on there, and if they have any questions, they get a hold of me pretty easy, and I can help.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Bryce.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I've done this, talking to anybody about it, but a little bit nervous.
You did
a heck of a job.
Especially dealing with us and my malfunctions and him. I mean, if you can deal with Anthony, you can be killed.
Yeah, right on.
It's like I have issues every time we do a podcast. It's unreal.
Make it frustrating for you.
It can be.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to run out of the woods this morning. I went hunting this morning and had to run back here to the house to get everything set up, and been rough. Didn't charge my headset. I had to switch to these.
Right on.
But we appreciate you coming on.
Well,
everybody go check out Foxtrot Ammo.
Looking forward to doing it again one day.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get you back on just before turkey season.
Yes, sir. That works.
Awesome. Well, have a blessed day there, Mr. Bryce.
Yep. Thank you, and you have a great one.
Hey, John, we gotta thank our sponsors, but we gotta do this. We gotta do this duck hunt giveaway.
Okay.
So, you want to do the duck hunt first?
Yeah, go ahead and do the duck hunt, and then we'll do the sponsors and all that.
Okay. All right. So we got Old Cypress Outfitters out of Arkansas, sponsored by the Lewisburg Elks chapter here in Tennessee. So it's going to be 5 vets, December 4th and 5th. The licensed shells, food, and lodging will be provided. So we'll post this in the group. If you want to go on the hunt, comment the keyword Foxtrot Ammo. I think that's pretty justifiable for the keyword for today. And we'll draw it the 1st of November. How's that sound?
Yeah. Sounds good. I'm just typing it into the chat real quick. Foxtrot Ammo. And then back to the sponsors.
Yeah. So I'll let you run through this one, man.
All right. Appalachian Custom Calls. Look, if you're new to turkey hunting, if you've been doing it for a while, give these guys a chance. Go pick up one. Try it against the one you already have, or you're doing it for the first time. Just give them a chance. I guarantee you it's top of the line. Top of the line. You will not regret giving them a chance. Because it's Rookham juice. Man, this is probably the best mock scrape scent I've seen. Like, it's amazing. It brings you into your cameras. And I mean, Dan DeWitt, go check out. He has his Facebook page is Mock Scrape Nation. Go check his dude. He's all the time giving out tips, and I guarantee you, if you reach out with him with a topography map of your land, if he's not super busy, he'll get back with you and show you where you need to go. Dude is just super helpful. Great guy.
I mean, he got with you within a couple hundred yards.
Hey, it put me on deer today. Like it was my fault I didn't get him. Like he put me in the right spot just off a map. Camo does. Great scent eliminator. Gotta go check it out. Look, man, we've all been using the same sprays for forever. And if they're not working, or just give the Camo Dust a try. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Another great product. These broadheads, I love them. I just absolutely love these broadheads. I love the way they look. I love the way they're made. I love the way they fly. Just amazing. Amazing. They shoot great out of the crossbow, the compound. I can't say enough about these broadheads. And then the reason, go check him out on Instagram, go to his webpage. He's got great gear. His YouTube channel is awesome. Another guy well worth checking out and paying attention to. And then we had John Raymond. How you doing, John? He's in the chat. You got anything else, bud? Oh, go tell that vet you know. Go tell that first responder you know to go join our Facebook page. Let us get them out. Just to say thanks to them. Even if they're not into hunting, we do offer other trips like camping, kayaking, hiking, golfing. Get them in our group. Let them find what they like, and we'll get them out.
I mean, who knows? You know, you might end up reconnecting with a guy that you deployed with to Afghanistan or Iraq. It might be over just coffee, you know. It's going to be a great time.
Oh, yeah. All right, bud. Well, I think that's going to do it for today.
Have a good one, man.
You too.